as we discussed, and as you already apparently know, some minority motorists, especially Hispanics, are being put down in the racial profiling data as white.
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
Well, some of the systems are established a long time ago that didn't recognize in terms of Hispanic as a particular race. So we were aware of that certainly after the 2009 session, and in 2010 we put some procedures in place, and we know we're doing a lot better job because we're capturing more and more accurately in that regard. Now, as to the details, some of the things you raised today, I'll be a lot better off when we get back with my subject matter experts and look at it, because I want to make sure we look at any and all possible, intricacies that you may have identified to make sure we're reporting data correctly.
So I know every department can sort of have a different policy as to how the officer for one thing, I know departments do not want the officer bringing up, hey, what race are you? So in your case, since 2010 especially, how do your officers determine the race of a driver when they pull them over?
We always depend on the driver's license itself. So you scan it automatically, it identifies. And of course, the TLETs and inlets does not, the national systems, they don't identify or recognize Hispanic. So what we had to do in the department affirmatively is we had to institute procedures within the department that has a drop-down menu. So in that other category, it's not just assumed that they're Caucasian or white or other, but they actually have to go in and identify them as Hispanic. And again, that's why I think our numbers have been going up since 2010, which is what Chief Luis Gonzalez has talked about.
So ultimately, it's the officer's determination as to what race the driver is when recording the racial profiling information.
Well, ultimately, it's a driver's license underneath it, but we've gone a step beyond and make our troopers, no, wait a minute, okay, we require you to take that determination. If it's not the black, Hispanic, Asian, okay, categories, or I think there's one other category, because Hispanics aren't recognized as a race, as an ethnicity. So what the department has done is we've been proactive in having a menu within our automated system, so it says when it comes back other, it says, oh, okay, other requires a trooper to go down there and identify, okay, it's another, is it Hispanic? And so they do have to make a determination. What the trooper's not going to do is going to ask, are you Hispanic?
Sure.
Okay.
So with the troopers making the determination, why are still so many being put down as white?
Well, I don't know that is. We need to look at the data. If it is, we'll make adjustments. But we need to look at the particular data, and we look forward to seeing that or having those discussions with you.
I know there's been an issue, last question, I know there's been an issue lately with the Tribune article and the analysis of the data. With what we've discovered, which so many minorities being put down as white, how can you say that the data is still accurate?
Well, I can say this. I can say the other analysis was, the technical term is what? Garbage, okay, because they didn't include all the information. Your point could be valid. If we're not putting all the particular individuals and we're miscalculating who they are based on what the driver's license is telling them, that's a problem, because it's underrepresentation.
And then your data, you're using your data lately to defend the agency, but the data, there's some serious problems with it.
Well, there'd be some serious problems with the Hispanic data, as we've already talked about, but not with the other particular data. But as I've talked about, DPS has been proactive in trying to address those issues that are not just statewide issues, but they're national issues.
It appears at this point that you're underreporting. Okay, one last one. It appears at this point that you're underreporting the Hispanics.
Well, in fact, we told the legislature we're underreporting the Hispanics, and that was one of the reasons why we saw this dramatic increase in Hispanics after the 2009 legislation, when we finally put this process in place and reschooled our troopers and doing a better job. So there's no
How can you have an increase if you're underreporting? That seems to be the math going in different directions.
No, just the opposite. We have an increase in terms of reporting the number of Hispanics that got citations, that were searched, that received warnings, that were stopped. So those numbers increased dramatically. If you look at it, you look at the numbers increased, even though they're well below in terms of whites, they still increased. And why did they increase? And one of the variables, in talking to Chief Gonzalez and other experts that have been around a while, is that 2009 session, we reschooled our troopers, and we did something proactively in Texas that they didn't do in other states, or may have not have done. And
but so they're still getting it wrong.
Well, I don't doubt that there may be mistakes made on occasion, but I don't know the details of that until I see the data and I sit down with my experts. I'd like to see how wrong we are.
Did you know this was going on?
I knew that I knew before that, in fact, that there was going on.
Did you know it was going on now?
Brian, we need to
Brian,
get going.
I don't know that it is, Brian, until I take a look at it.
Brian, we agreed to a time, so we need to get him
and
over
until
to the
until I look at the
executive
data, I'm not going to agree to anything. But I accept that we've improved dramatically. The department has putting systems in place. But
do you still?
You would agree that it would be appropriate for me to have an opportunity to look at the data.
Based on what we found, do you still stand behind the data?
I don't know what you found anything until we look at it. Let the state look first.
Thank you very much, Brian. We need to get off to the executive session.
Appreciate you.